Hi, I wanted to talk today on the topic, does my ex think about me? Well, if you're looking at this video, you're obviously thinking about your ex. Now, there's going to be several things that are going to be factors whether your ex is thinking about you or not, or how much they're thinking about you. One is going to be the type of relationship you had. Was this a friends with benefits type of thing? Was this a casual relationship? Was this something that was serious where you were planning more together? Another factor is going to be the time in between sort of the breakup and where you are now. So if this was a couple of weeks, was this a fresh breakup? Is this a couple of months later? Is this a year or more later? Who broke up with who? So if you were broken up with, likely you're thinking more about your ex than they are of you. How much fighting was in the relationship? How long did it take to fall apart? Were there children involved? How much fun did you guys have together? How did you treat each other? Those are all going to be things that affect how much your ex thinks about you. Do you work together? That's probably a big one. Do you still hang out in the same bars, same mutual friends, those type of things? Those are all going to be factors. Now, if we look at the triggers, so when do you think about your ex? Is it during a specific activity? Depending again on how or when the breakup took place, it's going to be, they're on my mind all the time. There's no trigger. They're just there. I'm stuck in it. Whether it's 6 months later and you've got some perspective on the situation, maybe it's occasionally they pop up. But what are those triggers for you? Is it that activity? Are you tired? Whether there's some bad news or good news and you'd like to share that with somebody, those are going to be very similar for them as well. The one thing that you will notice is that you do talk about your ex. Your family, your friends, possibly your therapist have all heard about your ex. Now, looking at that, they come up in conversation. It's going to be the same for them. So if they're with somebody new, or they're talking to a therapist, friends, or family, they're going to use things that were in your relationship or you to illustrate points or demonstrate some type of compatibility with the situation that's going on within the conversation itself. Some of the things might be like, oh, we never did that, and I always wanted to do that, and they never did that with me. Or, we used to do this all the time. This was great. We love this. We used to come to this place all the time, and this is a new place that they've taken somebody else to. So, there's always those little sort of coincidences. You might have been one of those individuals that was always up to doing something with them, no matter what it was, and this new individual that they're with is very sort of stick in the mudish, where they don't really want to do anything. And they're like, well, so-and-so was always up for stuff. Like, this will cause them to think of you. Activities that you used to do together. So for me, one of my exes, it was dancing. So we used to dance together. That brought them up very, very frequently. For others of you, maybe it was a bar or a restaurant that you used to go to, something that was very habitual or timely, so that you had like every week, every month, there was a specific activity that you did. This is all going to affect whether they're thinking about you. Maybe there was a trip that you went on. Maybe there was a restaurant that was your favorite. Maybe a type of food was always your favorite, that you did it after a specific thing that was like, oh, you know what, we went skating, and then we would always go for, hot chocolate or coffee somewhere, and we would order whatever. So those types of things are tied to those activities, those fun moments. It'll also work in reverse. So if they weren't such good times and those things are happening again, they're likely thinking about that and possibly in a negative light. What did you guys fight about? What did you guys laugh about? Those are things that are going to come up. within conversation with their new individual that they're with, because those interests may always be there. There might be issues that are personality issues or whatever that nobody's gotten over, and they're fighting those same battles with somebody else. So yeah, okay, they're thinking about you as well. What did you dream about together? Were you building a life together? What were those dreams? So if you've been left by somebody, those dreams are likely shattered, and those are hard to get over as well. Not so much just the loss of the individual that you were with, but the fact that those dreams that you had are now shattered and you're sort of aimless. Like, what do I do now? This is all gone. This was something that I really dreamed about, I really wanted. And so those are gone for you. They might be gone for them as well. It just depends. Another thing is, maybe there are similar experiences that they're having with this individual, and those are going to trigger memories of you as well. One of the interesting things that I find is when you're tired. Sometimes when you're tired, you've had a bad day or you've had a great day, and you'd be like, oh, I really wish I could share this with them. And it was something that you used to do unconsciously before, or you'd be just like so excited about something. Oh, I have to tell them because they were part of your life. That is going to be likely for them as well. Those things don't just kind of vanish. They do take time to get over, and they do take time to go away. Maybe there was something that you did for them in a specific way that was sort of your, that made them feel great. Maybe for some reason you always did the dishes. Something simple, innocuous like that. And their new partner doesn't. And it frustrates them. So there's a lot of different things that are going to come forward and do that. One of the other interesting stories that I had listened to was there was an 80-year-old man, and he still, after 60 years, would catch a whiff of perfume that this woman that he had dated in his 20s, and he would remember her instantly. It was just the way, that specific brand of perfume. Never happened very often, but it would take him back right to her and how she smelled. I've had similar instances where that's happened. I had a girlfriend that wore a fragrance. It was amazing. It was one of my favorite. But it was it wasn't very popular. And so it used to, when I would catch a smell of it, and this is 10 years later, every time I smell it, she comes rushing back into my head. And I would get an adrenaline rush. I'd start to shake a little bit. I would be looking around like, oh my God, where is she? Where is she? And those are the things that are going to make your ex think of you. Maybe you have a specific smell, or that you always smelled good, and it was nice for them to be able to hug you and hold you because you always smelled so good. It was a thing of comfort. So those things are always going to be bringing you front of mind. That said, whether they obsess about you is going to be topic for another video. I hope you found this helpful. This is something that I've lived and gone through myself, and now that I've got some distance on it, it's an interesting, rational look at things. Sometimes it's not easy to think in that way when you're going sort of through the battle of trying to get your life back together or finding yourself alone. I hope that this helps. Stay tuned. We'll post other videos. Stay safe.